Soros worries about Putin-Xi partnership, hopes they can be stopped before they destroy our civilization. That's rich coming from him. George Soros is the destroyer of worlds. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out. Also, subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I put out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree. The link is in the description. My in the link tree, I have a link to my Patreon where I talk about things I can't talk about here, and I also have a merch store where we have Let's Go Brandon T-shirts, I Will Not Comply T-shirts, all types of T-shirts. So check those out. Each T-shirt you purchase, it goes to fund what we're doing here. All right, let's talk about this news. Chinese leader Xi Jinping gave explicit signals that he was a friend and partner of Russian President Vladimir Putin in the week leading up to the Moscow February 24th invasion of Ukraine. Now, with the invasion bogged down amid stiff Ukrainian resistance and much of the world on edge over the conflict, Xi has backtracked somewhat and contradicted his earlier stance by endorsing the efforts of European heads of states to make peace. That's according to billionaire philanthropist George Soros, 91, who set forth his views on the crisis in an op-ed piece on March 11th. And I covered a little bit of it. And he said, Russia's invasion of Ukraine on February 24th was the beginning of a third world war that has the potential to destroy our civilization, Soros wrote. In his editorial, Soros contrasts Xi's current stance with the extensive and cordial meeting between Xi and Putin on February 4th on the opening day of the Winter Olympics in Beijing. And there's been speculation that that Xi Jinping had told Putin to wait until after the Olympics before he go into Ukraine. It's just speculation. But the upshot of that meeting was the issuance of a 5,000 word text announcing a no limits partnership between Russia and China. Quote, the document is stronger than any treaty and must have required detailed negotiation in advance, Soros stated, expressing his surprise that Xi could have been willing to grant such unconditional support for Russia's designs on Ukraine, or, as Soros put it, carte blanche to invade and occupy the country. Soros viewed this support as having emboldened Putin, a ruler who, as he approaches age 70, feels increasing pressure to make his mark on history, Soros states. Quote, having obtained Xi backing, Putin said about realizing his life dream with incredible brutality, wrote Soros. I think Soros is really projecting his stuff on Putin. Not saying that what he's saying isn't true about Putin, but I think a lot of what he wrote in that editorial is definitely projection, because his time is nearing an end, and he's trying to put his legacy, his mark on civilization, and Soros is like the boogeyman of all boogeymen. But more recent developments in Ukraine, where resistance to the invasion is fiercer and more determined than some expected, and support for Russia's notably lower than Putin presumed, have prompted Xi to reassess his stance. And I mean, you look at all the propaganda, and the propaganda is working. Xi seems to have realized that Putin has gone rogue, Soros observed. On March 7th, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi said the friendship between Russia and China was still rock solid, but then the next day, Xi called French President Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz to voice his support for the efforts to make peace and to advocate restraint, Soros noted. Since the invasion, both Macron and Scholz have spent many hours on the phone with Putin in an effort to work towards a resolution of the conflict. Quote, and it's far from certain that Putin will accede to Xi's wishes. We can only hope that Putin and Xi will be removed from power before they can destroy our civilization, Soros concluded. Earlier this year, Soros articulated his view that the year 2022 would be a turning point during which the world would pivot decisively either in the direction of openness and freedom or of dictatorship and repression. He pointed particularly to the Chinese Communist Party's growing aggression on the world stage, coupled with domestic problems faced by the world regime. And I do agree with Soros in that it's going to be, this year is going to be a turning point, and it is going to be between openness and freedom and dictatorship and repression. But Soros comes from the dictatorship and repression, while all these open borders and all this other stuff that Soros is into and pushing, and he's founding all this stuff that he's pushing is to destroy civilization as we know it, so he can build it up into the socialist fake utopia that he's been dreaming of his entire life. But let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, and check out democrepublics.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.